This Friday, audiences everywhere are calling Gladiator the single greatest movie of the year.
I put you in the ring, you fight or you die.
Strength and honor.
Strength and honor.
What's happening, guys? Today I was able to get a chance to see Gladiator 2, and I have to say this movie was absolutely incredible. I even got the special popcorn bucket. Man, this thing just looked really cool. I did a little short on it, a little funny one about it, but this thing is freaking awesome. Now, getting into the movie, the main question about this movie was that does this movie live up to the hype? Does it live up to the legacy that the first movie did with Russell Crowe? And I have to say, without a doubt, 100% yes. This movie, although it is a sequel to the first movie, it does not overshadow, the legacy that movie left behind over 20 years ago that it actually came out. And even though this movie is a sequel, it kind of drives forward its own legacy, and with these amazing characters that we get to see, some that are from the original movie, but most are new characters for this story. And of course, we had to trust Ridley Scott in his vision for this sequel. The fact that he came back to do it should have gave us all an indication that this was going to be a really good movie, and it definitely was. Now again, spoiler free, not really going to give too much away. I will say that this movie does give us a recap of the first movie in the most creative way possible. Now, Rome is known for its art, its architecture, so that very first opening sequence of the movie is literally a recap of the first movie, but the way they do it is with art. And I thought it was such a great and unique way to kind of give existing fans and new fans of this movie and of this franchise kind of a heads up of what was and then what was to come. So I definitely applaud Ridley Scott for thinking outside the box on doing this recap, how he did it. It was absolutely amazing. I absolutely loved it. This movie does take place about 16 years after the events of the first movie, and as we all know, the main character is Lucius, the kid from the first movie, and he is our protagonist for this movie. And seeing his journey from what he went through to what he becomes, being a slave and being a gladiator, because the whole idea was that we didn't know what led him down. By all intents and purposes, at the end of the first movie, he should have kind of gotten in charge of Rome and then try to make it better. But throughout the course of this movie, you get to see like what happened and what led him down the path that he is actually on here. And Paul Mescal, absolutely phenomenal. I saw an interview with Denzel Washington and him, for the movie, of course, but Denzel in that interview said, this kid, this actor, he's watch him, trust him, he does phenomenal. And I agreed. You got to trust Denzel. He's been doing this for a long time. And Paul Mescal, if you ever see this video, kudos to you, man. You did a wonderful job and absolute amazing performance for this movie. I felt the emotion, I felt the drive, the reason why he fought, and it just carried on through the whole movie. It was absolutely stunning. Now, of course, we're on the subject of Denzel. Denzel plays basically the slave owner who has crazy ambitions for his role in Rome. And not only do we know that like throughout the trailers he is trying to get power and kind of be in control of Rome himself, he does have some mystery behind him. And although it's not 100% revealed as to like what his name is, like his actual name and who he is, he does have a connection to the original first movie. So definitely pay attention and keep an eye out for that. But it's no surprise to say that Denzel did absolutely amazing. His portrayal of the character was phenomenal, and I mean all the way to the end of the movie, I mean absolutely great. Now, of course, we go to our favorite actor, everybody's favorite actor, Pedro Pascal, playing the general of the Roman army, and his role is so interesting compared to the first movie, because you kind of knew who the good guys and who the bad guys were, and it was just point blank, everything's done. But Pedro Pascal's portrayal of this general is so like heart-wrenching, because at the end of the day, he is a soldier. He's following orders and doing what he needs to do. You can see that it is not what he wants to do. It is not in his heart of what he feels like Rome should be. And to see that conflict of what he has to do versus what he wants to do is really great throughout this. He also is the husband of Lucilla. She is the daughter of the emperor from the first movie. The original actress, came back for this one, and their dynamic together and the love that they have for each other throughout the movie, you could just see it and you can feel it, and it's so like heart-wrenching to see them have to do what they have to do in order to basically survive what's going on. But again, performances absolutely amazing, and you guys just have to see like how this movie plays out with them. Now, of course, we all know no movie is as good as its villains or antagonists. In this case, we have two emperors, twin brothers that are in charge of all of Rome. And again, I'm going to go back to another interview I saw with Denzel where he says that there is evil and then there's wicked. And these two characters take that sense of like wickedness and like darkness inside of person's soul, and then they just take it to a whole nother level. I mean, this was great. I mean, their portrayal of that crazy maniacal, like, I don't even know how to describe it, how they just were running Rome. You could just tell like they just were no good. And again, throughout the movie, the performance is just absolutely amazing, and how everything ends for everybody. Again, I'm not gonna say, but you do kind of be like, yeah, he deserved that for sure. Now guys, I have to say that one of my favorite scenes of this movie, which we have seen in trailers, so it's not really much of a spoiler, was the naumachia that they did with the Colosseum. Now, if you don't know what that means, it basically means naval combat. Now, this is something that they actually did in Roman history with the mock naval combats that they did in the Colosseum, because eventually the emperors and the Caesars at the time were just getting bored with the traditional fighting in the pits, you know, in the gladiators with the sand. So they tried different ways to entertain the crowd, basically. And I'm just really excited about it, because with a lot of movies regarding, like, you know, the Colosseum and gladiators and stuff like that, we've never actually seen that done in a movie before. And I'm just a big fan of world history, especially with Roman, Greek history and stuff like that. So for them to actually do this just shows like how Ridley Scott wanted to up the ante in this movie, and he definitely delivered. It was absolutely great, stunning. Of course, you can see some of it was a little CGI in regards to like the animals that they used, but the actual like filling of the Colosseum and everything like that, like I could tell that those were actually built sets that they did, and it showed. It was absolutely amazing. Guys, Ridley Scott delivered another masterpiece. I feel like this movie is definitely one of the biggest movies of 2024. It delivered in so many ways. It didn't overshadow the legacy of the first movie, and it definitely built its own legacy with this story that was portrayed. I am giving this movie a 5 out of 5 stars. It was absolutely amazing, and I definitely recommend you guys going to check it out to see it. You know, get your popcorn buckets. I don't know if you're gonna be able to get my cool popcorn bucket anymore, but definitely check this movie out. It is worth watching. And for all the skeptics out there that were worried about, you know, this sequel, don't be. This is absolutely worth the watch. Thanks again, guys, for checking out another episode of Movie Madness, and I'll see you on the next one.